All right, welcome to the Town of Fairfield Shellfish Commission meeting, January 8th, 2025. And we have a call to order. We do have a quorum. Present is Sean Cohen, Hugh Stein, Bruce Kiefner, Cindy Wakeman, Kendra Wingate, John Short. All right, we have to go to our, if you go into the folder view, we got the agenda right there. So we have our approval of draft meeting minutes from the special meeting of December 16th, 2024. Everyone have a chance to look at that? Any corrections, questions? Changes?
Looks okay to me.
Someone want to make a motion to approve those minutes?
I move we approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approved. Flip the page here. Committee reports, clamming, planting, no report right now. We'll be doing that probably in May. We go to water and habitat quality. Cindy?
Okay. So for the reporting month of December, we've had 4.92 inches of rain. Total amount of days shellfishing was closed for this calendar year through last day of reporting month is 154.
All right. Anything on that? All right, so Bruce knows all about the dredging that's going on in Southport Harbor. And so we're gonna put it here since it's part of our habitat.
The dredging has begun in Southport Harbor. This is not the harbor per se, it's just the sandbar that's there. It's 20,000 cubic feet of sand that will be removed in the course of the next several weeks. Presently, there are 2 long arm excavators that are dredging. Probably next week, the Murden, which is a hopper dredge, will be coming up. It's the Army Corps of Engineers. It has the ability not only to vacuum up sand, but also the sand that is excavated will be placed into the Murden, and the Murden holds about 5,000 cubic feet per load. It will power itself out to what I call where Racing Buoy A is. It's right off of Southport Beach. And it will dump that sand for habitat for oysters. This has been worked out with Bureau of Agriculture. And this will be repeated 4 times in the course of the next 3 or 4 weeks.
So look at it in four loads.
What's the reason?
There's a sandbar that is accreted because there's a huge amount of wave-borne sand from storms that has
Created a
blocked the
spit.
channel. So the channel is supposed to be 100 feet, is probably about 40 feet now.
You're talking that the sandbar that comes off the club there? Correct.
Right off the sandbar, right off the South Wharf.
It's only 20,000 cubic feet. I mean, this is what they do, but that doesn't sound like enough to take it back from where it goes in back to almost
Well,
level with the jetty.
I trust,
Agreed.
Yeah, I
it's
just-
going to be, it hasn't,
When you first said it, I thought
Doesn't
about
sound like
it.
that much.
But I think about a triaxle truck.
not cubic feet, cubic yards.
Yeah,
You said
triaxle truck is
yards.
20 yards, right? 20 to 30 yards cubic. So if you had 20,000 cubic yards, it'd be definitely more than 4 loads, right?
You said cubic feet. I was thinking feet. That's 3 times as much as what I thought.
It'd be 9 times really.
So whatever it is.
Actually, you're right, because cubic. Yeah.
It's a lot of material. So it's unnavigable. It's a federal channel, so that's why it's being dredged. It's the federal government that's doing it. And the sand that they're taking from there. They're putting in an area on our natural beds, which will smooth it out. And then shell will be added to that, live oyster, hopefully to create an oyster bed. It wouldn't be an oyster bed in 2 years. Would be a long process of getting enough shell in there but
And the dredge is a big vessel. It's 150 feet long, 156 feet by a beam of 35 feet. So it's a very large vessel that moves at 8 knots. So it was down in North Carolina, then it came up to New Jersey, and then it was up near New York to get refueled, and now it's back in New Jersey. There's only one of them on the East Coast. So that will be working 24/7.
yeah, they picked a nice week to work. It can win. All right, so anything else on the dredging?
No.
All right, so another email came in, and this is about the, looks like it's about the South Wharf repair.
Yeah, that was missent to you.
Tim Bishop sent it to me.
You rebuild
I
that
know,
thing?
but it was I know,
It wasn't sent to me at all.
no,
Yeah.
it
It was
That has
sent to
to
Harbor
do with-
Management.
that has to do with the South Wharf permit, which is being modified to
Oh.
include not only the South Port,
Mhm.
not only the South Wharf area, but the area north of it, which is just pilings right now.
Yeah.
That is going to be rehabbed as well.
Right.
And it was noted by Deep that there are oysters within 30 feet or 10
Oh, I
feet.
can see, they sent a picture.
Yeah.
So they're within 10 feet.
Yeah, they're all
I
right down
mean-
along there.
5 to 10,000 oysters maybe, if that. So it's just being noted, right? So it's up to us if we wanna save them, get them out of there or not.
Yeah.
All right, so we know about it, and if we wanna get them out of there, we can see what we can do.
Yeah, and I mean, there are also a huge number of oysters down at U Yacht Yard. If you look at where the dinghy docks are,
Mhm.
it's an area the size of this room
Right,
filled with oysters, probably a foot deep.
there's a lot of oysters in there. It hasn't been harvested and it probably won't be, so it's a good source of spat coming out of the Mill River, which will, if that oyster bed out there becomes, if we put shell, we have the spat coming out of, what is it, Sasko Creek and out of Mill River with all those oysters right over that bed. So if we do it right, we could end up with a big oyster ground out there. And like I said, that'll be down the road. But, yeah, so we know they're there. If we have to, we'll move them. I don't know if they could do the work without disturbing them.
On the other side, you mean?
Well,
Pilings, yeah.
they're going to have to obviously remove the piles, put in new piles, but more importantly, there's the whole stone structure there
Yeah.
is in very poor shape.
So they'll be,
So that has to be rehabbed before they can, you're not gonna put pilings in.
we'll see how it goes, and we can do some restoration after the fact.
Yeah.
If we have to get the oysters out, we'll give it a shot time, or if someone else wants to. I don't think there's enough there for a commercial harvest, so.
Just curious, I'm there 4 times a week. What is the major reason to rebuild that pier? I mean, it's sort of, well, it was always just kids jumping off into the water, and the occasional fisherman that now stands 7 feet to the right.
Well, I don't know why they decided to redo the area that has just pilings. It didn't have a walkway on it. In terms of the walkway, that's considered sort of a public amenity. And people liked it. The swimming was a massive problem.
Look at the sign up says don't
Well, not only,
diving, and everyone's leaping
Yeah,
off
but
there.
we, without getting into a lot of details, but we had 12-year-old kids sailing boats, and these guys were jumping amongst them.
Oh, yeah.
And not only is it prohibited by the town, by town ordinance, it's hugely dangerous.
Mhm.
But we actually had parents who videotaped.
Same thing when the water
So,
goes low, that's dangerous for those kids.
But the parents thought it was fun. And
All right, so we're getting off the topic of shellfish, so we're gonna cut this conversation. What I was gonna say is, it's a way for people to enjoy Southport that don't live there. They can park over at the yacht yard or down at Perry's Green and then walk down, go out on the pier, look at the harbor and all that, and then walk back. It seems like there's a lot of people that do that a lot. I was thinking, we do have those oyster beds all around that, like right over, I guess, up towards the dinghy docks. Maybe we get a little placard made or a sign or something. I don't know if it's allowed on Perry's Green or on that green South Wharf. But like pointing out, Sasko Beach or recreational, Southport Beach. I don't know, something down there. But let's move on. So we got permits and access.
Okay, so
With regards to the permits, I wondered when the last time the price was increased on each of those.
Probably about 7 or 8 years ago, we raised the price of the non-resident permit. And we got rid of all the specialty permits and just have resident, senior, and non-resident. So we discussed at the last meeting that we'll probably be changing some of the pricing for next year. Because it's the price of clams right now, I see them on the all things clamming page and they're getting 79 cents for cherry stone clams per clam.
Yes,
So,
Yeah.
I mean, a dozen clams and that's $10, right?
I agree. Yeah, I think that the price should increase, even if it's $5 in each of those three categories.
So we have to wait till our next season, 2026, because we've already sold
54,
54?
34.
34 permits already, so we can't change it now.
Okay, and is there a cap on how many permits we sell?
No.
No, there's not.
Can we not raise it? I mean, the people that paid less bought first. There's a lot of businesses where the earlier
We
you
could.
buy, you get a better rate. It encourages them to buy January 1st.
Yeah, it's a good point. And once it's,
Actually,
February 1st, it goes up.
Well, so if we want to do anything, we have to have a special meeting to put that into effect, but I mean, it's $20 for a resident permit. What do you guys think? We want to raise it to $30, $25?
I would say 25 minimally. I mean, the town is so different since COVID. So many people have moved in along the coast, just massive,
So right now, we're at
homes and-
$20 and $10. So I think that the seniors really want to see a savings, so maybe we could do $30 and $15 and then do like $50 for our non-resident.
I'm in favor.
I think that's a fine idea. I think that the net impact on our cash between now and the rest of the year wouldn't be huge. And I think that, yes, businesses do raise the price, but we haven't talked about raising the price. I can't think of very many other fees in town actually that do raise prices mid-season. Moreover, we just appeared in the Parks and Rec magazine in the issue that came out that shows our prices in there. So
It's here. I'm showing you all. I have the magazine in my hand.
So
Okay, so we'll probably leave it this year, but we'll definitely, we can have a special meeting anytime we want, or we might be able to add the special meeting to the beginning of one of our regular meetings and set the regulations for 2026. Do it now, you know. we
I
wanna
would
wait.
be in favor of raising the prices and also putting a cap on permits just in case, because as I mentioned, the town has gotten to be super busy, and I wouldn't want it to be overfished.
Well, so we stock the clams, so the more permits we sell, the more clams we can put in the water. So we can satisfy the need. The truth is, I would really like to put a goal of 1,000 permits out there this year and see if we could do it. We have the people to do it.
Yeah,
You know
there's a
little
lot
bit
of people, I agree.
And fundraising and that. Kendra's heavily involved in marketing, Sean, so almost a majority of our commission is can come up with some ideas and try to get some permits sold. I mean, I think you said in the past, we should be selling in the thousands. We have
should.
65,000 people and it's a well-to-do town, I mean, well-off town, so people
Yes,
buying $30 permits or $20 permits.
And regardless of whether we raise them in the future, I don't think, my gut says people that have bought them and enjoyed them in the past, 5, 10, 15, 20, it's less than taking kids out for lunch
Yes.
for the whole price. So I don't think we'll lose people that are already sold. The real question becomes, how do we drive more people into the boat, if you will, rather than, you know, hit this
So-
point or having people walk away that have been
Coming up
buying
with
for years.
those ideas.
But I'm fine with leaving seniors low at some point. That always
Yeah.
feels good.
But just like you said, let's put a challenge to the town
I agree.
to get 1,000 permits sold.
well, the other, that sort of segues into, one of the things that I was mentioning, with the social media, Instagram and Facebook. And collaborating with others within the town, other entities, and also because people share and, support, and we can collaborate with other Facebooks and other Instagrams, and just, I mean, it's endless how we could grow that. And then secondly, the newsletter, I'm happy to restart. I'm happy to do the social media, and I'm also happy to start with the newsletter again. And it's really just awareness. I mean, if we even went to each elementary school and, let them know that this was going on, I think that would initially be plenty.
When we first started advertising the clam clinic, we used Peach Jar and that would go out to all the elementary schools. And we did get a lot of parents and kids. And then we felt that we had the same people coming back and, word of mouth and everything, it's, a lot of people. So
Sure.
getting to the schools on things, we have done presentations in the school before. We bring some clams and oysters, and let the kids look at them and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Show them some slides, the SPAC collectors and things. There's a lot of ways. So what do we got for what do we?
I would be happy to
Permits
spearhead
and
that. Or
access. All right, so let's all think of ideas on how to get some more permits sold. And next meeting, we'll spend some time on that.
John, one question.
Yeah.
When is the main obstacle with issuing more permits? Why doesn't everybody in town have one?
They don't know.
Hugh, it's awareness. If you tell people that we have a beach, that we stock it with 80,000 clams, that our whose health, so to speak, the safety of it is monitored by the state, by the Bureau of Agriculture, so that it's safe. There are a lot of clams there. And the people, when we do the clam clinic annually, we probably get 300 plus people, various generations. I think that if we can get more families in there, and what we tried to emphasize in our ad was this is fun. And if we talk about that, we might possibly talk to some of the science teachers, because at our clam clinics, we also always talk about how clams grow, how this is farming with the spat, and then how the oysters grow and so on and so forth. Kids are always intrigued by that. Science teachers would love to share that with their kids, or we might possibly do mini clam clinics. In other words, we do a big clam clinic with chowder and tents and things like this. But if we had mini clam clinics and one, a couple of us came down there with some rakes, we're gonna show you how to do it. People go, oh yeah, that'd be fun,
Right.
but I don't know how to do it. Well, we'll show you.
I don't know how to do
I
it.
mean,
I live in
I'm-
Southport. I don't know how to do that.
Go ahead, Kendra.
I'm happy to take that on and to give it a shot. I do have 5 grown children and I'm a grandmother, all here in the beach area. I know many of the people within the schools. I think one as a guest sort of Q&A, session within the schools is their part of their science program. Which I'm also happy to go and to do with whomever else would like to as well. And then, in addition, as soon as I can start to work on the marketing and the social media, and the collaborating, I'm certain that we can grow it. Additionally, we can possibly talk about growing, the other events that will be going on at the same time, whether it's a fishing tutorial or whether it's another food truck or something that's a draw, which I can also brainstorm and present at the next meeting, some options and ideas. But I would rather start sooner than later so that they can all get it onto their calendars for the spring, ahead of the clam clinic. Mentioning to each of the schools that are interested.
All
I
right,
think starting with the elementary school children, I think that's the target.
Yes.
There's one footnote that we should remember that at the current level, we Sasko Beach becomes unreachable to most people after a certain time of the morning because we just fill it up. And so we can't use that as the one entry point to clams and to the clinic. The clinic is a wonderful day, but we almost cap out at whatever number we have right now. No one else can drive the cars. They went all the way up to the turn in the road and then down Sasko Hill Road this past year. And there's a certain point at which people aren't gonna park their car and walk from
they shut the
Country Club
road.
Fairfield. So again,
They closed the road.
they close the road.
Yeah.
So at a certain point that we do cap out on that one. So I think the question becomes, and we've tried to figure out ways where are there Saturdays in season where we're able to have rakes and maybe some student volunteers or people that are there for families? How do you tap into people, not through an informational standpoint, but how do you experientially put it in front of them and say, here's a rake, there's your kids, instead of throwing the Frisbee, go in the water, here's a bucket, do that. We're extending to you the courtesy of today. If you had fun, buy the permit online when you go home tonight. Here's the QR code, snap it, go. That's sort of the way that we might be able to get more people exposed to it rather than just we do push the clam clinic and that's a great event, but we probably cap out at whatever the number we think it is, 250, 300, however many people we get.
Yeah.
So
So,
with regards to the parking, that would possibly open ideas for a shuttle to be on no.
that's been discussed and it's the logistics are wrong for Sasko Hill Road. Turning buses around and that, it's just not, we don't need to build that up, but we're gonna go back to originally what he was asking about, why don't we sell all those permits? A lot of people don't realize that you can harvest clams in Long Island Sound. People will
It's
buy clams and oysters in a restaurant and eat them, but they'll say, I'll never eat anything out of that water.
So the ongoing, the beach closes
Yeah.
because of the pollution and people think, I will never eat a clam out of there.
But they don't realize the clams that they're eating in the restaurant are from right the same place, and the oysters. So, outreach and just getting people to know that, there's an open clamming bed and the water is tested, like Bruce always talks about.
That's all a part of the marketing and the social media, just raising awareness and also, teaching people and putting informative news on each of those so that they better understand where the clams come from and that the water is cleaner than they think.
Yes. All right, we're gonna move on to Southport Beach Rehome. No report. right? No report. All right, commercial shellfish regulations. There's no report on that, but I don't know if I talked about it at the special meeting or not. We did have, some boats harvesting, where this oyster bed is gonna be. And did I say, if it, I was thinking maybe we send an email over to Dave Carey and find out, how many days they worked and what their harvest was. Not to try to get in, just to try to figure out, okay, if we were to give out a permit or two commercially, what would be, expected that would be harvested? And then we can set our fees in that off of what was gotten over there. So, that's a good idea to send a email and find out, get all that information.
I think it's a good idea to get the information. You also mentioned that the shellfish beds that we are trying to research the title for.
Yeah.
That's something that I've spoken to Jeff Stedman about. He thinks he has that information.
Oh, okay. So maybe we could talk about that or meet with Tim Bishop or something.
Well, just meet with Jeff Stedman.
We meet with Jeff Stedman. All right. Yeah, I'd like to talk to him about it because that would really help out with that area. Because now that it's leveled off, we have a defined area where we'd be shelling and all that. And it could be broken into sections that, this is done this year, this is done this year.
Yeah, I mentioned in a conversation with him, I mentioned the Smith.
Smith, yeah.
Yeah, and he said, oh, we're looking for the title, and he said, oh, I think I might have that.
Okay, so the whole point of it would be that 112 acres would then fall under basically the Shellfish Commission's, I'm not gonna say jurisdiction, but management. And
These are oyster beds, shellfish beds off of Southport Beach, is that correct?
yes,
That we believe, you can explain the details.
well, in our Shellfish Management Plan, there's a section in there that talks about this Minot Smith property that was 112 acres off of Southport Beach. And that it was deeded to the town, except no one really knows anything about the deed or anything. So if we have the information, we could bring that to the Secretary of State and get that listed as town-owned property. And then the Shellfish Commission could manage that 112 acres. We could actually lease it or sell permits to harvest on it, help out with generating some more income.
It's in Southport Beach or Saska?
Southport Beach. So it's offshore, it's a lot. It's in between. So if you know where Southport Beach is, you go out the channel and it's just to the west of the channel there. All right,
Because we get a lot of requests from commercial shell fishing people who come to us wanting to harvest in the Fairfield area. And the reality is that we have very, very limited areas that are available for commercial shell fishing. And one of them being Ash Creek, which is basically our nursery where we grow everything. So we don't really want anybody working in our nursery.
yeah, I don't think we want anyone really working in any of our creeks or rivers. There's just not enough
Same thing with
biomass there to support a
Southport
commercial.
Harbor and the Mill River Tide Mill area. It's problematic because of access and everything else.
Right, so now that these guys have harvested in open water, if we see how they did, we have some more natural beds that, if someone wanted a permit, we say, all right, we'll sell them a permit because we know there's something there. All right, off of Southport Beach reopening, I know commercial shellfish regulations, we go to oyster bed development. Nothing really going on right now, 19 degrees outside. Anyone have anything on oyster bed development? We go to communications. So we did just talk about a lot of communications, but what I want to start with first is we have Cindy, Sean, Bruce, and Kendra on communications. Did you want to still be on communications?
No, I don't think I'm needed.
All right, so I'm gonna take Cindy off. Bruce, you want to be on communications? Yes.
There you go.
Sean?
Yeah.
Kendra?
Yes, please.
And Hugh?
Sure.
Alright.
Where can I get that shellfish management plan?
It's on the website.
Okay.
So you go to the town website, then to Shellfish, and you'll be able to find that there. We'll have our MOU, and then you have to search a little bit, and you'll find the management plan.
I have, along this lines, I spoke to Rich Hagedis, who's the designer who designed this ad for us. And can take whatever raw materials we have and put it into, make it photo ready for this magazine and make it photo ready so we can reprint it if we want to use it for anything else.
Let's see if we can get a half page out of this thing,
Well,
if it's possible.
yeah, that's always a trick, is how do you get space when you're going in for free?
I know.
But I think probably the sooner,
Well, if we
get
pay
our
our
ad
ad
done.
money, could we possibly get a half page?
I don't know.
Swamp 'em. Let's bring them some oysters.
Big shell right there. That's
But
gotta be-
anyway, I talked to him and, you know, he's on board to work with us again.
Okay.
So how are these guys getting a half page? How does one get a half page?
I have no idea.
What is that there?
I mean, we,
Oh, that's sponsorship
the
opportunity.
fact that we're even in here
Yep.
is a miracle.
Yeah, so now we have
We
to.
didn't submit anything. This is just a carryover from last summer.
Yep.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's different though, isn't it?
Is he?
It's
No.
different setup than it was last time. Not dissimilar. It's informational.
Is it the same exact one?
Or it's something that Tim
Any
modified.
dates on that?
No.
No, okay.
I think the layout
It's got
looks.
the QR code on it, but that was already in effect, right? Well, maybe we'll work on it, see if we get a half page.
But we have to come up with, we have to get a Shellfish clinic date, so we can put that in there, which we can talk about that later. And then we need to see whether or not there are other high points that we want to mark, you know, from a marketing perspective that we want to put in there. The focus here
with
with
a
it is
clinic in
fun.
there, but if we do a fall party. Because I'm leaving in November. Have a nice party down on the beach.
I mean, I think the idea of the clam clinic is less important than the date because we could move it for rain or something else. I think the format for what we have here and how people use this actual sign up sheet, I don't think we're that far off. I think we can broaden the question of communication and marketing. It's good to have you two joining because can I ask bluntly, have either of you had a shellfish permit previously?
Yes, we do.
You do. So you're more valuable in this case because you didn't have one. What type of messaging would make you aware that there's this thing that's happening, but beyond that, that's worth you getting up, shooting it with your phone, buying that? Is it a call to family? Is it a call to alone time with you? Whatever it might be. One of the things that we have struggled with in the past is not how do we message to people that are existing permit holders, not people that are following us on Facebook, not people that are following on Instagram. How do you get to the rest of the town that's not in this boat? So that I would like to have a focus of the marketing and communications group be, let's expand the size of the tent, if you will, rather than just focus on the messaging to people who already know what we're doing.
I think.
Okay,
I
so
think-
two things,
Go ahead.
sorry,
ahead, Karen.
so two things on that. One, when each of the social media platforms that I run, I reach out to other entities, and each of the people that let's say it's the Parks and Rec, since we have their catalog, each person that comes in or each person that asks about something or each person that calls, you ask them, oh, join our Instagram. We have a wonderful Instagram and Facebook, and it gives you events and information and blah, blah. So you always direct them. And then each of our newsletters and our literature, you direct them. And then if I were to contact the elementary schools and many of the other town platforms, I would direct them to the social media because you have to grow those numbers. That's the point in having that, is to grow and to collaborate. So I would tag the Fairfield Parks and Rec, and they would hopefully tag us in some of the things that may be similar or maybe similar age group or interest groups. So So that's the one part. And the other is becoming, getting out there in the community, and awareness is key. So that's going to the schools or going to some of the other big events and having a little booth, or going to, the Chamber of Commerce and having a little booth at something they do, or any of those type of places that may have a lot of people, and just handing out even just a little flyer or a little, to hop on our Instagram, look what we're doing. We're doing wonderful things. You live here along the Sound, and the children enjoy the beaches and the boating and the marinas, and your support would be fantastic. And I think people, there's a lot of young families that have moved in, and I think that they're interested in helping to support all of that.
I think a lot of people are interested in it, but they don't feel, A, they don't know how to do it, but B, they don't have the equipment. And it's not a lot of equipment, but they don't have a clam rake, or they're gonna need boots or something like this, and they say, I don't wanna get a pair of waders, and I can understand that. You don't need that in the summer so much, but you do need a clam rake, and you can't go out there with a steel rake that you use in your garden. That's not the tool that you need. So I think that if we sort of let them know where they can readily get those, whether or not we give them a link on Amazon to get it, or a local place, which we've mentioned.
What'd be nice is, there's a lot of people moving into Fairfield, to get some kind of welcome, like a little mailer or something that says welcome from the Fairfield Shellfish Commission or something, or that kind of idea, like just like the boat owners, they're more likely to clam than, say, the people who do Irish dance,
Mhm. Oh, sure, it's an outdoor group, but there are plenty. I mean, there's
How do we get
65,000.
all those people?
You saying the Irish drink too much?
I don't know what's too much, so.
Again, it's just awareness and marketing and outreach. It's just getting out there and explaining in the newsletters and the websites. I would bullet point all of that, where they can buy the clams, what they'll need, whether or not we have a rain date. All of the details would be itemized.
Can they sell that stuff at Bass Pro?
Yes. Bass Pro, West Marine,
Okay.
Amazon.
Amazon, the bait and tackle shop in Black Rock,
Orbit, right? I think it is.
Orbit, and Black Rock Bait and Tackle. Sometimes they sell out right away. And
Well, I was
then,
gonna say, it's also nice because we can direct people and list a few of those places. So now we're supporting and helping drive some business into those places as well. And when people are in there, they'll say, oh, this is cute, look at this. And they'll purchase other things. So it wonderfully snowballs on itself.
I think also we need to get into the first selectman's newsletter.
Mhm.
He's been
Absolutely.
really happy with us in that. Maybe he could put something in about,
He got us in there once, right?
about buying permits and that.
Mhm.
So, one quick thing on that, maybe we can go to the next topic. So when is the gathering of the Shellfish Commissioners?
The 8th of February.
Okay. Do you recall offhand which town sold the most permits?
It's
Westport?
it's Westport is up there. Westport used to be way up there. Westport only sells about 500 to 600 now. It's like Guilford or one of those
What do you
towns.
think that number is?
It's over 1,000 permits.
But it's deceptive, because a lot of them,
Yes.
deceptive in the sense that they're selling day permits.
Yeah, a lot of day permits, but still, you're getting $20 for a day permit.
The reason I ask is we can get tactical about how do we get to a certain number, but strategically, how do we set that number? Let's set the goal this year of we sell more than any other town in Connecticut, and that's the kind of thing where we can, got oysters or, whatever it might be. That's the kind of thing we can get Bill behind, which is we want to achieve this. We want Fairfield to be known as the most
Well, we've done everything
shellfish
else.
crazy town in Connecticut. We'll get him proactively involved if we can enlist him as part of that cause versus asking for a shout out.
Right, okay.
All right, so we'll find out the highest number.
I
I
can,
think he'll be receptive to supporting it.
He still has to pay for his own permit. He doesn't get freebies.
No freebies.
No freebies.
we don't. It's, there used to be a list of the permits, and like a town employee got $5 off, or, a veteran got this, or a senior that was a veteran got this. And it was just very hard for them to make change.
Oh, yeah.
So we just made it easy. $10, $20 and $40.
Interestingly, all of the permits sold to date except for one were sold online.
We know it.
Again, we can, you know, when we direct people to that where they're purchasing, we'll add all the bullet points, you know, and all of the information that we would like everyone to know.
All right, so we're gonna end communications and go to upwellers. We discussed at the last meeting of bringing the pump down to Palmer's Motors to get it rebuilt. So I'll be doing that probably in the next month or so. So we're at the end of committee reports, but let's go over the makeup of the committees real quick. So on clam relay and planting, it's just myself. I put you there. Does anyone else want to join clam relay and planting?
What, how do you do that?
I'm gonna put Cindy on it, so, but we're just the makeup of the subcommittee.
Okay,
All right, water and habitat quality. Right now we have Cindy, Lizette, and Bruce. That's good enough, good? Yeah, I think so. The only thing is, Cindy, you know how to do the water sampling. Bruce, you know how to do the water sampling?
Yes, I've done water sampling.
Okay, so.
My boots don't leak.
All right, permits and access. We have Cindy and Lizette, and I'm gonna put you on there, Kendra, okay?
yes,
Permits and access, since you're gonna be working on trying to sell more permits.
mm-hmm. And I may be interested in helping you plant those as well, so you can pencil me in for that.
For the planting,
Yes, that's why I was asking.
the clam relay and planting is really done by a commercial harvester.
Oh, okay, okay,
The committee that really, I mean, I go on the boat when they do the harvesting, but you can
Okay.
always jump on the boat anytime, anyone can hop on the boat with us.
okay. If you need a backup, let me know.
It's, you know, it would be nice to have someone else on there just to do a ton of filming and pictures and that, because
I'm a photographer.
I usually help sort the clams, and then I'm trying to take pictures, and, you know, I got the gloves on and all that, so.
Okay, yeah, I'm a photographer. I'd be happy to help.
All right, good. So next time, maybe in the spring, I'll let you know when we get on the boat.
Perfect.
All right, so Southport Beach reopening, we'll leave that. That's Sean, Cindy, and Bruce. You wanna hop on there too?
Sure.
So Hugh Stein is on Southport Beach reopening, along with, like I said, Sean, Cindy, Bruce. Commercial shellfish regulations, I have Sean, myself, and Bruce. That's good enough. Oyster bed development, just me on there right now. Who wants to join that?
I don't know what that is.
So we catch that, we plant shell, we have downwellers, upwellers we work on. It's a little bit of outdoor activity. It's basically messing around with all the restoration kind of work we do. It's fun.
How often is that done?
Let's see, in the spring, we'll be, in July or June, we'll be planting shell. And Conservation Department helps out. They bring the shell down. We put it in buckets and then we drive it out and pour it into the.
People that aren't on the committee show up and love that stuff too.
Yeah,
Okay.
so, yeah,
I'll help whatever I can.
yeah, all right, so. if it-
I'll help too.
I had good breakfast that morning.
So it'll be John, Hugh, and Kendra Wingate.
One of my sons is a landscaper, so we've got a lot of trucks and all that. If any, just as a backup, if anything is needed.
I think this is an area where in the past, we've had one of the students from the aquaculture school as a sort of quasi, he was doing special work, credit work.
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
So if we could get either some of the aquaculture school kids or some local high school kids that are truly interested in this,
Let's save that for
they'd be good
old
workers,
business, all right? On the goals.
young and strong.
All
I
right,
think that's a
so
good idea.
on the oyster bed development, I got Short, Stein, Wingate, I'm gonna put Wakeman on there too. All right, communications, Sean, Bruce, Kendra, Hugh, Upwellers, myself, Sean. And Cindy. So basically, there's at least 3 people on each one of these little committees. If 2 people don't make it, usually the third one's here to make the report. It doesn't mean that that's the only people that can discuss water and habitat quality or commercial shellfish regulations. It's just the people who are gonna report on it. Usually everyone gets involved in what they wanna get involved in. If you don't wanna be involved in anything, you have to come to Clam Planet either way, right? But yeah, it's just to fill out the roster. All right. Reports from the Conservation Department. Shellfish fund balance $28,930.57 as of December 31st, 2024. Shellfish permits sold, as Cindy reported, 34 as of December 31st. Closure period was reported under water and habitat quality. And our budget status, we're not gonna discuss tonight because Tim Bishop's not here. And he knows more about that than anyone else. So we're gonna go to old business, discussion on plans and goals for 2025. So we've already discussed a lot in some of the other topics, but Bruce, do you remember what you're talking about?
No.
A high school kid helping out.
You, that part,
So we're gonna talk about plans and goals. We've talked about a lot already, but
I think that we wanna get, as a way of bringing people into the program, younger kids, especially high school kids, who can help out, who wanna get hours for various different civic projects. And so we have worker projects like the Upwellers, like the Spats, and moving shell and things like this. And they're strong and able-bodied, and they like to do it. So I think getting their interest, and that might segue into working with some of the science teachers. I don't know, but the whole idea of pulling people into being involved as students or as parents or as just shellfishing folks.
Yeah, especially I think the scientists sharing a video on social media from them speaking about the safety of the Long Island Sound. Something to that degree. I think you put that on Facebook or my wife's on it, Moms of Facebook or something like that.
yeah,
Kendra probably knows what all those sites are.
Moms of Fairfield.
I do, Moms of Fairfield, yes.
Mom
But
of
each town has that. Mhm.
Put that on there and all of a sudden, every household in town is aware of that.
There is one thing that had been talked about by other commissions, and that is getting, both of the high schools have AV programs. And they're very technically savvy and they've got a lot of capabilities, technical capabilities, in terms of producing something. In one case, they were going to take, a PowerPoint presentation and put it to video and basically animate it. And I think our story, what we've talked about, how spat grows and how we are really farmers, we just happen to do it underwater,
Mhm.
has a lot of interest to it. And if we could get the kids from the science and the AV program to generate this, not only would they learn, we'd learn, and we'd get a huge amount of PR because it would be something that we could reuse.
That's great.
All right, so one of our goals is to get some more young people involved. All right. Another goal is to try to sell the most permits in the state. All right. So those 2 are easy, right? Goals with oyster bed redevelopment. Do we want to do any spat collectors this year? Does anyone have the time to get that together, or?
Well, it seems to me that if we don't do the spat collectors, it sort of short circuits one of our big stories. In other words, the spat is an opportunity to collect baby oysters. And you do that during the summer, and then in the fall, you scrape the spat off and put it into bags. And then you take the bags and hang them in the marina during the winter, and then during the summer, you put those oysters from the bags in the upwellers, and then you take the oysters that grow from the upwellers and put them in the beds. And if you don't have the spat, game's over.
So what I'm saying is though, that's all great, but does everyone have the time and the energy to put in to do that? It's picking up cement, going to the workshop, mixing that cement, dipping, you've done it.
I haven't done that. I've only done the day of.
And putting them out to dry, and then when the day comes, bringing them all down, hammering in the rebar, putting the collectors on, and then, you know, having our spat collector day at the end, but in June, does everyone have the time to do that? That's the reason last year it wasn't working out, so we didn't do it. But there's a lot of time and energy involved in that. I mean, I'm willing to do it. We've got it down to a pretty, you know, where we can get it 100 of these things coated, or 60, or 60 to 100 in one night. But I don't wanna, you know, I wanna say, do we wanna do that, or do we wanna get oysters from the hatchery, which will provide us oysters there, or our downwellers? We still have a story of, you know, we raise the oysters in our downwellers or upwellers and then plant them. So I'm just wondering, do we still wanna do the spat collection?
That might be something that we can include the kids that need community hours.
Yeah, it's not gonna
And
work
s-
out.
Okay,
It's a job. You know, the community hours, we've had opportunities for a lot of kids. We get some, but they just tend not to show up. And it'll be a couple of guys or a couple people,
that's true.
whole job, so we can discuss, we have time.
We could
Okay.
Keep that in mind,
We
is
could
that,
also talk, Brian Leclerc, who's the harbor master, is one of the former scout leaders at First Church. And he's worked there for a long, long time. And he's no longer active in the program. But if, I believe, and I've never been involved with the program, but if you get people like Brian, who I know somewhat, who knows, who makes a commitment with the kids, they will honor it. It's not like kids with hours, like, oh, I don't have time to do it. This is something like when they're working for Eagle Scout and stuff like this. that
Right,
They're committed to. This isn't a casual thing. This
Right.
is basically a contract. I'm gonna do
Put it
this.
out there is that we still have to be there for every minute that Eagle Scout is there.
Yeah.
So think about it, and we'll come up
Okay.
with another meeting. We still wanna do the upwellers this year?
Yeah.
Get the pump rebuilt and we'll do that.
Sea squirts.
Hmm?
Sea squirts.
Oh, yeah. Maybe those will go away someday. What other kind of plans and goals do we have this year? We're doing our clam clinic. Do we wanna do something additional that's more of a, not so much teaching people how to clam, but enjoying clams and oysters possibly? Or the music that, you know, we wanted at one time? You know, we
I
thought-
mean, I think, again, just spreading the awareness of all of this would be key, a key goal to do in 2025. Getting people
Alright.
on board, getting people to help, you know, save the sound, quote unquote, and you know, to support the sound. I mean, we all enjoy it. It's education, you know, we educate the public.
What month is that Taste of Fairfield that happens behind Artisan?
Is that in the
I wonder-
spring?
Is it in this booklet?
Warmish, yeah. It's-
Warmish.
It's like when the sun's just starting to get hot.
So So we talked a while back about trying to have, we discussed a couple of ideas of how do you get people when they're out to eat? How do you get them away from this? You're gonna go pull them out of the sand, you're getting them in a relaxed, maybe they've got a drink in their hand, they're eating some oysters, and that's a way to sell in the idea of these are delicious, you're enjoying them, wouldn't it be nice to pull these out, clams, oysters? So I'm in favor of what you just suggested a second ago, which is how do we tie our mission in with a more casual, relatable experience of eating seafood, and yet we're kind of there, we're making our awareness known, whatever it might be, whether that's partnering with Nordic Fish or something else at a Taste of Fairfield, just a way where we're in that conversation in a non-academic kind of a way.
Mhm.
Because
I mean, would we be able to have like a wine tasting down there, a pairing with a fish?
You can't
Okay.
drink at the beach, but
Not legally.
Not
I
legally.
was gonna say, okay.
I had to say that.
no, but what you could do is that you could go out and harvest some clams in real time, and you could be shucking them and be making them into, throwing them into clam chowder. You could be chopping them up on a little grill, doing oysters or stuffed clams or something like this. You could be
Serving
doing
them?
these things so that people would be, oh, go out and get some more clams, we need to get a few more,
So you
so.
went chucking them and serving them to people on the beach? Cause we got into that tricky situation where if we wanted to grill burgers last year at,
we have to get.
Yeah, we
we
have
to
have
have
to
a permit.
take a
permit.
class.
chuck an oyster, that
We'd
might
have
be.
to take a food safety class. Not a big deal if we wanna do that. Shucking something on the beach, we would be better off getting someone like what is that name of her?
Couple of that, I know you mean, this girl shucks.
Yes, this
Oh,
girl
that's-
shucks.
yeah.
I forget, is it Rachel something
I think you're
or
right.
getting someone like that or is already
agree.
licensed and takes the full risk,
And
because.
she does events, she does concerts in Bridgeport at those things, yeah, that wouldn't be bad.
So we could do something like that, that would be, we do attract a lot of people, we'd have to figure out how to control the people in that, but yeah, you're right, so you've had ideas in the past,
Well, there's
maybe
different
we
ways you, so.
get some of them
But
going.
as an example with her, like, we could make a big deal about it and have, we advertise it, or you go the complete opposite, you just stick her in, we get the permit for her, we don't announce it, we stick it in the town green where there's like a concert going on. We have her shuck them until they're gone and then she disappears and we've got signage on there. And so we're getting that visibility along with her, she makes money, we kick in a couple of bucks. Sell a bunch of permits by people, hey, you want a couple of oysters?
Right, and we all go in and we bring our families just in case no one.
Correct, but
knows.
also if you want some oysters, give a shot on the QR code here and think about buying a permit. You obviously love them. That's a way to maybe connect it, but we don't advertise it. It's like, it's surprise and delight. It's just,
Otherwise we'll get overwhelmed.
that's it. So anyway, but there's creative ways. I'm a big fan of these things.
Alright, so
So what about why these oysters are better than the other towns? How safe are they and why they're better? Because we do X, Y, Z and they're free. All you gotta do is buy a permit.
because they're the best in the world.
That's the world. We do up,
It is.
I'm not familiar with all the process involved.
We could start a battle with Long Island. And,
That's it. We have some,
because there is someone that
With
was
Kachuk.
doing the same work that we do in Long Island. And Tim Bishop sent me an email, I'll pull it up, maybe I can send it to all you guys. And we can start a little rivalry, just like the challenge thing.
That'd be
What was
fun.
the challenge you originally came up with?
the one we talked about in like the Grey Goose,
No, that one, we still could do that.
which challenge? There was something a year
2
ago or
meetings
so,
ago.
yeah. No, it's more than that.
Wasn't that long ago. I don't know. No, it was.
I think I want to build a sort of beef with some other
Yes,
mayor,
that's right. That's
Westport.
what it was.
maybe Westport, yeah.
Westport.
Okay, so we could do it town against town.
Yep.
But yeah.
Pull everybody
that kind
together.
of thing. That gets people interested. People like to see that stuff, and even if it's just like, the little writing back and forth or, another idea is, people go clamming, these families go clamming. I know after the clinic, a lot of people post, there's like something about post your dinner or something. Do you know what that is, and people were posting their clams, so it comes to like, show me what you caught and what you just did or something. And like put recipes out there. And then people have to go get a permit to get clams so they can make their stuffies or their chowder or. I don't know.
That's another thing on the social media, because they would tag us. We would ask people to tag us, you know, at the clam clinic. And then when they're making theirs, or they're putting photos of their recipes or their families eating from the clam, you know, each one, and it just grows and grows and grows.
Well, I mean, you could take Sean's idea of, you know, the restaurant week and stuff, but totally unrelated to the restaurants per se. Just try to get enough core people that want to have a contest to see who could make the most interesting chowder or the most interesting stuffed clams, not us, them, using clams that they got from our water. And that we would have this, and then we would give out a prize that might be something at Nordic Fish or something like this. But in order to participate, you'd have to get the clams, obviously have a permit. You'd have to get the clams and do something with them, whatever you thought, you know, Cindy's got a great stuffed clam recipe and Sean has a chowder recipe and you have something else, you know.
There was a year and a half ago when we asked people to send in, it was pictures or some other stuff. We didn't get as many entries as you'd think. I think we got like 10. And then we delivered the oysters and the beer.
We got about 10.
It was about 10 people that responded.
If that. I think 3 of them were our own.
Yeah, I was one of them, I think.
Yeah. All right, Bruce, you're.
Those are good, but it's tough to get people to, good on
Participate,
us if we can get those numbers up.
yeah.
So, you know, last year you set the QR code in place. It's made everything a lot easier with, if you do this, people all have their phone, boom, you hit that QR code. Now it's in your phone, you know, in your web history, right? Or that page is there. We could sell more permits that way.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, before there was no way to do that. You know, you have to go online and fill it out that way,
Yeah.
or come down here. Now it's or go to recreation. Now it's so easy with that. We can do anything, you know, so.
Well, we're also in the rec database right now,
Mhm.
because when somebody applies for a shellfish permit, if that number is in the database because they've got a golf permit, for instance, they already have that information, so that it's really easy for them to generate the permit and to follow up. At the same time, we could work with Parks and Rec and say, could we do an email blast to a whole bunch of people using their database?
Yeah, and so.
Because Parks and Rec sends out stuff all
We
the
get
time.
all the time for all this. Maybe we could have, did you get your shellfish permit yet?
Yeah.
You know, have you renewed, or, you know, did you get one? Yeah.
I mean, you can always say
That's not my game, so that, someone else has to figure out how to get in touch with Parks and Rec and get involved in those email blasts. I don't know if there's money involved or not. We have money to spend, so.
Yeah, but and Tim has worked very closely with Parks and Rec. I mean, the shellfish permits that we have now are using the same format
Mhm.
Parks and Rec uses. You know, they're the ones that trained us on how to use the printer and set up the printer. So
It's a good idea to cross-pollinate, you know, in the different groups. I work out at that place over there. I know Anthony. If you want me to talk, he's the head of the Parks and Rec.
I do too, if you want me to.
Well, if you want to, that's fine.
All right,
Okay, I'll speak with him if sure.
All right, anything else? Any more plans or goals we wanna talk about tonight?
Did we do anything with Save the Sound?
No,
Okay.
I don't know a lot about them, but we really haven't, we've done everything pretty much, by ourselves or with like Sea Grant or the Bureau of Agriculture. We haven't really been involved with any of the other nonprofits out there.
Okay.
That's it for plans.
That's not a bad idea that people Save the Sound is mentioning our name or what we're doing in terms of preserving, maintaining the quality of the water, and oysters clean the water and 50
Yeah.
a day and stuff. That never hurts. That, by the way, oysters do all of this stuff. And in Southport, Connecticut, or Fairfield, Connecticut, at Sasko Beach, you can get a permit and you can get clean clams. I mean,
Yeah.
That's a good way.
I'm making notes and I'll get in touch with each of these. I'm asking and then I'm writing a note and I'll get in touch with these people and see if there's interest, and then whomever has interest, I'll present at the next meeting.
All right, and then one more thing on plans and goals is I'd like to figure out some way of fundraising, and you've been involved in fundraising in the past,
Yeah, let me think about that.
all right?
I'll present some ideas next time.
Okay, I have a couple ideas, so maybe I'll send you a text or email.
I can do that if you need a third.
All right. We're gonna go to new business 2025, gathering of the Shellfish Commissions. It's on Saturday, February 8th, so Sean, Cindy, Bruce, and myself know what it's about, but it's a meeting on a Saturday. It goes from usually 9 in the morning till 2:30. All the Shellfish Commissions in Connecticut send representatives there. We usually, anyone who wants to go on our commission can go, we pay for it.
Where is it?
New
It's at the
Haven,
Connecticut Agricultural Station in New Haven, up by Albertus Magnus up there.
Lunch is provided,
It's a good lunch.
It's a good lunch.
So you have like a presentation
Shellfish.
by like the Bureau of Aquaculture. Last year there was the Mashantucket tribe had one of their members talking about the shell jewelry they make. It's a pretty good day, and then we have a round table where all the commissions get to discuss what they do and everything like that. So
Okay.
if you're interested in going, I think we have to let Joanne know. I haven't got like any email for registering from Tessa or anything like that. But last year,
but they did ask us in that email that we got a month ago or so, they did ask us to send to Artessa, whomever the author, to send her the names of your members.
which is of the what members that are
Of
going
your
or
commissioners.
that are
That's
going?
realistic.
Well, I think that the names of the people I think the idea was that she wanted to build a mailing list so that she could solicit everybody.
All right, for the mail server.
I'd have to go back and look at that email.
I think I'm in Park City that day.
Okay. Think about February 8th if you'd like to go, learn a little bit about shellfish at that.
Okay, that's a Saturday?
Yeah.
I'll check on that. Okay.
Bruce, you think you're gonna go?
I'm going, yeah.
I would definitely make sure.
I think I'll be around, so. If you're gonna go, email Joanne Mora in the conservation. She's the one who sends out the agenda, so you have her email with that.
Yep, I'm away.
Did you get the agenda? The email?
You told me what I don't know, did she send me something?
She should have, because, let me see. Did you get the agenda, Kendra? Email?
I did, from Joanne, yes.
Okay, so you have her email, all right.
I do, thank you.
February 8th is the gathering. It's at 9 AM. If you wanna go, you can email Joanne or myself and
I
be
got
on the
it.
list.
I'm good.
You good? All right. Okay, we'll get a little group together. It's a good day. You'll meet people from the Bureau of Aquaculture, all the different shellfish commissions. And then,
Sounds great.
yeah, and Sea Grant runs it and they do a good job with it. All right, informational. I did a talk today at UConn for Sea Grant, had the 10-minute little speech. And I always feel like I got so much to say. I feel like I never get it all out there. But Tessa said I did a great job, and I kissed their butt enough, so they were happy. No, I was supposed to tell how Sea Grant has helped us over the time I've been on the commission in the last 10 years, and so I was able to come up with a multitude of times.
Oh, awesome.
Anything else on informational? No. Okay, all right. You're gonna be away. So at the gathering, I've been asked to do a presentation on our QR code for the opening and closing of the beds. So. You wanna do it?
No.
Bruce? I'll do it.
I'll work with you on it.
Alright, well, I think it's gonna be a very short presentation. We'll be showing the signs, where they are at the beach, and then letting a couple of people come up and hit the QR code and show the open or close.
You know, and the way that people get the open or closed clam is kind of,
I could have you hold the sign, cause if we do a presentation, we don't have to pay. So we save $30, so we'll save $60 if you're my assistant.
Everybody stand behind you, nobody pays.
Any more informational? No? Anything that's non-Shellfish related? Anyone wants to talk about?
yeah, I'd like to, what do we want to talk about the Shellfish Clinic date?
You wanna talk about it in February?
How about now?
Alright, what do you got for tides?
Okay, here are the tides for the month of June. Sorry, I can't give you one, Kendra, but my arms are short. It's gotta be on a Saturday or Sunday. And obviously, we're looking at low tides,
Mhm.
so you can see the ones there.
There's a pretty obvious one right there, right?
So the beaches are open.
Oh yeah, the
from
beaches are open
technically
in June, yeah,
The 20.
but- yeah.
So the Memorial Day is the 24th to the 26th and then to September 1st. So we were trying to do that before June in April or May, right?
No, so if we do the early in the morning, that's why we like to do it in the morning. Beach doesn't open until 10 o'clock.
Okay,
So we have a Saturday with an 8:18 low tide. We basically start it at 7:30 AM or 8 o'clock, or we could do it on Sunday, 9 o'clock. That seems to be our weekend. The afternoons are out because the beaches are open, so the afternoon would only be in May or before Memorial Day or in September. Now, Memorial Day is like the very last weekend of the month. What is
it's
it?
the 26th,
26, okay, so it's a
Monday,
little,
the 26th.
we'd have to do it before Memorial Day. What do you guys think about that, June 14th or 15th?
Is it warm enough, do you think? The water and all?
Yeah, the water will
May.
be, it'll be 60 degrees, you know, it's a little chilly, but we've done it in May and the water was actually cold. So June is pretty good. It's low tide.
Not in a lot of.
So we have a +1, +2, so it's not the best low tide, but it's not a bad low tide. So it'll be fairly shallow.
Yep.
We should see some sandbar,
I wonder what the last day of school is.
It's a
'cause I know there's-
0.1, so it's not,
basically,
it's a tenth of a foot.
so it's a decent tide.
I wonder what the last day of school is.
I don't know, it could be Father's Day for all I know also. Does anyone know that?
Yeah. Because the tricky part of that is, you know, they've got so many school commitments at the end that last week, the elementary schools.
I think no matter what, this thing gets, it's gonna fill up.
We don't have a lot of options.
Yeah. Last year, we got stuck all the way into September. We lucked out with the weather and everything. But I think that's the weekend we have to shoot for.
I agree.
It's close to when they get out of school.
Father's Day is the 15th.
Father's Day is the 15th. So we have done it
Oh,
on
yeah.
Father's Day before. You know, I mean, we could bump up the Father's Day. It's not a real holiday or
Oversell
anything.
the shit out of it.
Yeah, we could really oversell it.
I think.
Bring your dad out.
Having it on Saturday,
surprise them with a permit.
if you do it on Saturday and the
Yeah.
weather's crappy on Saturday, at least you have a fallback
The
condition.
only problem with Saturday is we'd have to start the thing at like 7:30. We've done it before.
Well, I'll get the school calendar and I'll,
Well, that's our only option for June, right, Bruce?
yeah.
Or,
You don't think September is when everyone's back?
so we don't sell
School and-
permits in September. The whole, we try to
Okay.
sell a decent amount of permits at the clinic in the
Okay.
spring, right before summer comes.
This is creating awareness.
Yeah, so, you know, we had the clinic last year, it was a great day, it was beautiful. You know, everyone ate the chowder, they had a great time, but we really didn't sell much for permits because everyone either had their permit or it was the end of the season. So we can really try to pump the permits out at this. Father's Day wouldn't be bad. I mean, there's a lot you could put together for
Yeah, it's good family quality
dads
time.
out there. You know, buy your dad a permit for Father's Day.
Don't let them sleep in, make them drag you out in Long Island Sound and get some clams.
All right, so
I
tentative
love it, but
14th, 15th?
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, after that, we're all the way almost into July with the next low tide, right? So,
Bruce. On my phone,
I agree, yeah, I say 15th.
and they don't line up with yours, I'm assuming.
I'm not sure, I just printed it off.
So I have this off of the link that John had given us.
you're in the right year?
So 2025.
My forecast,
Mhm.
so mine are a little bit different than as far as what I have.
As to
What
what?
did you show on the 15th?
Maybe it's wrong.
In January, hold on, cause I was looking at this earlier today, just to get an idea. I lost my page now.
Fake times, right?
Cause I have written the 19th.
Well, the 19th is not a weekend.
No, no, I was thinking April or May.
How do you get to the further months on this thing?
There was a link on the top corner, I think.
Looks like June 11th is the last day of school.
Okay, so this is US Harbor, so that's the same one that you have.
Same data?
Sunday. the 5th. No.
If they have
that's
no snow
different.
days.
Yeah, right.
You can't go that far out on this.
This is what I'm having.
April,
No, it's April.
oh yeah, June,
No, this is May.
that's May, we're looking at June.
Okay. $457, $554. Okay, that's the
Wait.
right one.
Yeah, 8, 18, and 9. Yeah. 21, 22, it's the same one,
Okay.
same exact chart. Even though they're two different companies.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same no matter who publishes it.
Oh, no, I was just worried that what I had was wrong.
All right, so everyone look at their calendars, see if they have any plans or anything like that. And thank you for getting that together, Bruce.
Yep, thank you.
Anything else on other?
Potentially, one quick thing. Kendra, can you hear me okay?
yes, thank you.
Given we have increased telecommunications beauty up there on the wall behind you, I'm gonna suggest that the chairman sits on this end of the table to look at people.
I know that.
I feel like it's gotten better. This is awesome.
So when Prue's here, she's been setting it up this way.
Yeah.
And I told her next meeting, I have to sit down there.
Yeah.
I put you down this
But then
end.
Cindy set it up because it's always been set up this way.
I agree.
I was sort of looking over at Kendra before and then I said, you know what, I'm just gonna sit like this because it's more comfortable.
Tradition.
Yes, but we'll have to turn the table around, I guess, or something.
You want this to end?
No, I can move down there. Yeah, I think it makes more sense, yes. All right, on the other also is Kendra and Hugh, can you call Tim Bishop's office and give them all your information so they can add you to
Kendra must already be there because she got the meeting packet. What's,
right, but he wrote, have a meeting conflict and will be on. I also do not have email, address, phone, etc. for the new members to add to this list.
Sure.
I mean, call them or email them.
you can
You can email them or call them.
Yeah, no worries.
Bishop
Thank
at-
you.
see Bishop at
Email.
fairfieldct.org.
It should be in part of the, his email should be in the, agenda that was sent out. You know, with the list of people that got sent to. All right, no public comment. Keep this right in my folder, okay, Bruce? All right, so everyone just keep in mind of the, June 14th and 15th as our tentative plan. And it will be packed, obviously, even if it's raining, but. You know, so we're gonna advertise it just like we always do. All right, that's it. Someone wanna make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor?
I
Bye.
Meeting adjourned.
Did you get the email,